Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 123. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Book Insight Friday. And yes, today I'm delving into a book, and I will be delving into books for the next few weeks. I promise. I know you guys are like, all right, like, thanks for for all the other content, but can we get back to talking about your books? Yeah, let's do that. Today, we're delving into The Private Investigator Part 1. It's a 5-book series, and it's the continuation of the Code Blue series. So it focuses on Gary, who is the main character of the Code Blue series, and his life as a police officer, and his journey into exposing a lot that goes on in police departments, and him retiring from that. And now he has moved into, being a private investigator now. And this is his new opportunity. So if you guys have not read the Code Blue series, please go read that before you delve into the private investigator series. Because, this is the continuation of that. And I laugh at writing this book series because the game plan was, okay, Gary rides off into the sunset, he's retired, and that's it. And as I'm recording this podcast, I'm kind of laughing at it too, because I honestly knew like there was just no way I was ending Gary's story with Code Blue Part 5. I knew that I was delving into a new book series with him. It was just a matter of how I was going to do it. And I don't remember exactly when I knew that it was going to be he was going to become a private investigator, but I think it was somewhere along the lines of like, when I was finishing the Code Blue Part 5, and then I was like, ding, then the light bulb went off, and I was like, oh, I got it. And then from there, it was just like, all right, I'm good. So going into the start of this series, I had to make decisions on, what kind of cases Gary would be working and be involved in. And, there were a lot of ideas that came to me, but some would require me to write really long books, and I didn't want to do that. So I knew that I had to write about, things that made sense. And I wanted to write good stories that go behind the scenes of police departments, that go unnoticed and not discussed, enough in today's society. And there are so many illegal activities that go on in police departments around the world. But I felt that I had to expose these things. And to start the series, Gary heads overseas with his new partner, Joe, who pretty much gives him the car keys to these big cases and lets him lead the way. Joe has been a private investigator for a long time. Also, you'll learn about that in the book series and his backstory too. Now, I'm not going to give away the book, but it is a big case with drugs and a club involving police officers and, all of that stuff. But, the series is important in shaping how so many cases go unnoticed, not just, in police departments, but also in government agencies around the world. And there's definitely a need for these topics to be discussed and not swept under the rug. The timing of this series, when I started writing it, was necessary, as there were so many cases involving police and corruption that goes on. And I knew that, in order for me to write a book series like this, I had to really do some research on cases that go unnoticed in police departments and situations that do happen. So, I don't want to sit here and tell you the whole book series, but as the next few weeks go along, I will delve into each book and each case, that Gary and Joe are involved in. You do hear from Joe, in these books and his perspective on things and what he's experiencing and feeling and going through. So don't think like, Joe's just the guy in the back. Joe is someone who was Batman, and he kind of led the way and did his own thing and rode solo, but he wanted to take Gary under his wing, and he's allowed Gary now to be Batman, and he becomes Robin, and it becomes a good duo. And uh, this part one starts out with a nice bang of them investigating some police officers in the police department, and illegal drug activities and things that go on. And I do, write these cases based off of things that I have researched or things that I've seen happen that have been reported on the news and things of that nature. So just know that I'm not creating things off of the top of my head all of the time. I like to, immerse myself in certain subject matter that will make sense. I really hope that this private investigator series does some justice. And I kind of just write it in a way where it's free flowing. I'm not going to delve into like every single detail and aspect. That's not the goal. The goal is more to say, okay, this stuff does go on in this world, and how are we putting a stop to it? How are we looking deeper into these things? And how are we shining light on these cases that Gary and Joe become involved in? And these are serious situations that do happen. And, I don't want it to be like, oh, okay, cool, this happens, and that's it. No, it's, oh, okay, this does happen, and why does it happen, and what are we doing to really monitor this stuff, you know? And Gary is a different guy, in this series. His personality changes. He's happier. He gets to control the narrative of, how he investigates cases. And, he has someone that, is his partner, and they work collectively to get things done. And that becomes very fulfilling for him. And you'll see that throughout the series, how he, becomes a different person, and how his relationship with his son becomes better based off of him, moving into a new career and getting to travel the world and getting to do the things that he is doing. And that's impacting communities and changing the lives of people and all of those great things that we all want to do in our lives. So what I want to tell you guys is be creative in whatever you're doing. And that was important for me, and in a few weeks, there will be a very good announcement coming regarding Gary and his work and the things that he is doing. I don't want to give it away, because then it leaves no incentive for you guys to look forward to in a few weeks to listen. So I will say that the podcast with the Private Investigator Part 5, which is the last of it for the series, there will be a nice little announcement coming, and I think you guys will like it. And in the meanwhile, Cold Blue Parts 1 through 5 is available everywhere except Amazon, for numerous reasons. And The Private Investigator, parts 1 through 5, are available in all bookstores except Amazon. So that's Barnes and Noble's Kobo Scribed. Paperbacks are on the book patch. Everything's on my website, and you guys will be able to find those things. And hope you guys will check all that stuff out. So, with that said, that is my podcast for today. Hope you guys enjoy listening to this. Book insight as always. Have a good weekend. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.